Well, thank you for staying with us here on the AM show. Time for us to dig into the newspapers. We'll tell you what's making headlines. So if you just joined us, well, welcome. But before we start the newspapers, we've got a huge birthday dedication. It's to you, Professor John Japong, Vice Chancellor, University of Health and Allied Sciences. It's your big birthday today. Because of COVID-19, we can't ask where the party is, but enjoy yourself. Have a...
Where the party day?
Have a wonderful birthday today, Prof. Enjoy your birthday. Happy birthday to you. From all of us, the entire AM show, to you, Professor John Japong, Vice Chancellor, University of Health and Allied Sciences. If you know him, kindly give him a call. Tell him how much you love him. We, on the show, we love you so much, sir. Enjoy your birthday. All right. Ben, ready?
Ready as ever. And today is a bit of a day that...
the Lord has made.
That has got me thinking about so many things. You know how many years it's been? It's been about 49, 50 years now since the Salah case. E.K. Salah. Versus the Attorney General. You're
going back to citizenship.
Exactly.
You're going back to who a Ghanaian is.
So many things running through my mind this morning, and it's just beginning to get a bit unrelatable for me, unbelievable for me. The story of Daniel Yao Domelevo. You know, the man, I don't want to take the wind out of your sail, but when he was leaving on this forced leave, he was Ghanaian. He returns and he's Togolese. Isn't that amazing?
Well, he's alleged to be, isn't it?
And he's stating in the letter, I mean, in his communications that audit service, you are not clothed with the authority to do this. They are saying, but you work with us. And in fact, it is our duty to ensure that these matters are straightened. For how long did we know that the man supposedly was Togolese? And if certain things hadn't happened, would we be here?
Oh my God. Well, I see where you're going with this. I see where you're coming with this. And the issue is the fact that Yao Domelevo, the Auditor General, who was forced to take his leave. He went on leave for over 100 days.
Don't forget the top up.
150 days.
He was given a top up. Let's top up. Let's give you, relax.
Well, he's supposed to be back as Auditor General of the country today. But of course, yesterday, correspondence between himself and his board came out, and it turns out that they say that there's some anomalies with his date of birth and also his citizenship. And so, per the date of birth that they've cited,
that supposedly he gave the first time he was signing on to the SNIT, scheme.
Yeah, he gave his date of birth as 1960. So he should have retired last year. Well, he went on leave last year, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess we had not discovered this. Otherwise, we would have just asked him.
I heard one member of parliament even suggesting that when people are that good at the work they do, even in the audit service, they are even retained. They are given more time because it's difficult to get people like that. In this instance, we're rather saying, what time, Maso? What is your problem?
Yeah, in fact, if you look at their acts, yes, you can get some more, because you can go for
it's done in the public
terms,
sector.
And then you can get an extension as well, if they, of course, think that you deserve it. But in this case, we've actually been looking forward to retiring him. And so we asked him
to... we, who are,
well,
the
state is in it. I mean, the appointing authority is the president. The letter for him to proceed on leave came from the president. And if you look at this correspondent, and later on we'll dig into it, if you look at the correspondent, it says that they're notifying the president of what they have discovered, and they're forwarding the document to the president and advising the president to take action. You get it? So, I mean, it's us. The president takes an action, it's on all of us, it's the states. So after we discovered that he had accrued leave So we asked him to go on leave. Now we've discovered again, just when he was expected
after we discovered that he needed more days.
Now we've
to rest.
discovered that he should have retired last year.
And we even discovered that apparently Domelevo was not even Ghanaian. Supposedly, we even discovered that.
As for that one, as for the
miracles,
the Ghanaian bit, you can be Togolese and be Ghanaian as well. Nothing stops you.
I am actually stunned because, look, when you look at even the ever grouping, let's just pick that, in West Africa, you have them in the Ivory Coast, in Benin, in Togo, in Ghana. They spread across. They are all, it's one contiguous group, of course, in different areas. Yes, there are things to consider when you talk about citizenship per the Constitution and all of that. But, Mama V, I'm bringing this up because I feel if it were the other side, we would want to make noise as well. When Atta Mills did it with reference to what happened during his tenure, may his soul rest in peace, we spoke up about it. And this, my problem is, it's following a certain trajectory that for me is a bit too startling. It's almost as though this were no longer about the truth and the core principles, almost as though it were now about, you know what, this is what we want in the end, and someone's head must roll. And I'll just end with this. Perception. We have a corruption perception index. It doesn't necessarily state that this is the state of corruption in a country, but it's the perception of it. And perception can be very dangerous, especially when it's negative. We're going down a slippery slope as a country, and especially if we get into political tit for tat. You do me, I do you. You did this during your tenure, I come and I do this. Where will we end up?
Well, I think that one thing is clear. We want Domelevo out, and that's what it is. So we will find, all the necessary means to get him out. But listen, we will have a longer conversation on the back of this later on here on the air. And of course,
I have to be very
we'll keep an eye there. Is he going to the office today? Hello? Oh, they changed his locks the last time he was on leave.
Oh, yeah, this time I'm sure they changed the entire gate. But
yeah.
Are you Ghanaian?
I am Ghanaian.
Relax.
As far as
think through it, because you just might not be Ghanaian.
Listen,
because you cry. I don't know whether you qualify.
If you want to know if you're Ghanaian or not, just go back to the Constitution. See, there's nothing above that, and it says that if you were here before the 1992 Constitution came into being.
Into force.
Yes. You're Ghanaian. If you're Ghanaian before the Constitution, of course you're Ghanaian.
All Ghanaian be Ghanaian.
If you have a parent, it could be a grandparent or, your parents being Ghanaian, you're Ghanaian. So, it's a long, and there are certain people, by the way, who can hold certain public offices.
Yeah.
When I checked it yesterday, it did not include the Auditor General. So that's why I said, in terms of like whether you're Ghanaian or not, and you can be a foreigner and still get pension benefits.
Yeah.
So you can be on SNIT as an expat in Ghana. So, but of course, let's also be fair. Granted that what the Audit Service Board has discovered is true, and there are anomalies because that's what they say in the date of birth, and he should have retired last year.
Right.
Then should he still be in office now? Should he resume? You get it?
So this, like I was saying, it reminds me of the case law, not just Salah versus the Attorney General, but there have been other cases. I just forget the names of the cases, but even some Lebanese Ghanaians and all of that who have had to go through these systems, some land issues and all of that, just to prove. And then, citizenship comes to question. It will be interesting to look at some of those. For me, I want to see this matter go to court. I want to see the court decide like it did with the Salah case.
Because I already went to court.
On
the leave issue, the Supreme Court has not dealt with that yet, so we hope that. But if indeed he was not qualified to be there, and he's been there as Auditor General all this while, and SNIT actually also made corrections on his date of birth, then a whole lot of people must be resigning because they've all failed us as a state. A whole lot of people. They didn't do due diligence, and the man had been there as Auditor General.
Yeah.
It's not as easy or simple as, after all this.
So I totally agree. Then all of you in the chain.
Exactly. What kind of work did you do?
And maybe we would be looking at the nominating authority, the former president, and also looking at the authority that kept him in office and even allowed him to go and leave with all the benefits, the current president. Yeah. Maybe we should be asking ourselves all these questions.
We are consolidated. The fund where we take the money to pay Mr. Domelovo is for all of us. Yeah. It's the consolidated.
So they've caused financial loss to
they owe us. Charlie, we'll get into this a bit later.
And just to wrap up, so now to prove your citizenship in some ways, your birth certificate might not. So if you have a passport, you have a Ghana card, does that guarantee your... Because I've seen a lot of people asking on social media, are we strangers in our own land or are we Ghanaian? I mean,
but you know, I would have really appreciated it because we know that the Audit Service Board Chair has issues with the Auditor General, Daniel Domelovo. I would have appreciated in terms of the anomalies with the SNIT. It's interesting that SNIT didn't come out with this. SNIT didn't come out with it, but it is the board of the audit service that made this discovery.
Is that board still functioning?
On behalf of
still functional?
Yesterday I heard the auditor, the board chair say that yes, they are back in office. The board was inaugurated, I think, sometime in October. We're still trying to figure that out.
I see.
Yeah. So SNIT didn't do this, so it is the Audit Service Board that is bringing this discovery.
It's not as though SNIT came up and said, there are anomalies. We went in.
So, you know, it is really extremely difficult to change your date of birth.
Exactly.
After SNIT has taken your initial...
affidavits, or a whole process that must be...
I was even told that they will actually have to set up a certain committee. You have to appear and justify why they should allow you to make the changes. So if indeed mistakes were discovered and Daniel Domelovo was allowed to make changes, then we want to assume that he went through all these processes. If he didn't, then see the people who have failed us, it would include SNIT as well. And all this is assumptions.
Charlie.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's do the newspapers. Ben, you're keeping me at Auditor General.
No, you will be talking, delving extensively. You know, I've laid the foundation for you now. Now, when we start, it won't be too hard on the ears of the people.
You will leave the show today as a Ghanaian and return as a Nigerian.
You know, I have some roots from... I didn't say that.
You come and say roots. We'll say you're not Ghanaian.
I am Ghanaian.
Okay, well, we won't say you're not Ghanaian. We'll say you're Nigerian.
Let's check out the Ghanaian Times.
On the front page, nationwide, COVID-19 vaccination takes off, hotspots targeted and the first phase exercise. The picture of the Asantehene Otumfo said to the second, having his first jab of the COVID-19 vaccine.
So I've been saying,
I've seen
and Kari. I said Kari one. Someone went after me. Kakari.
I've seen some leading, officials, state persons receive the jab, but nobody has done it for me in a more majestic way than Otumfo. He was smiling through it yesterday.
White,
oh my God! And the nurse, see, I would like the senior nurse who did it for Otumfo to give me the injection. It was so quick.
It was a romantic vaccination, romantic on very way level. Like it was.
It was very quick. And I saw Lady Julia and the nurse was trying to make her laugh. I want to go to Malaysia together.
You meet one of the Buga ones. You see what they
No, I'll go to Malaysia. Okay, so that story's in the paper. NPP NDC commits to peace after Supreme Court's ruling on election petition. Mahama urges Ghanaians to patronize COVID-19 vaccination. Now, the story that I tried to give you a little bit is on page 3. The pastor who is in court for swindling 3 victims of 8,700 Ghana cedis after he took 4,450 Ghana cedis from a senior high school leaver, promising him of enlisting, it's a she, into the Ghana Police Service. He's taken some more monies, and so there are some fresh charges. 3 more people coming forward. There is So this all happened last year. The accused introduced himself to a fruit vendor in Georgia as a police officer and told her that he could help any of her family members to be enlisted in the Ghana Police Service. The fruit vendor subsequently informed 3 relatives about the offer by the accused, and so they paid 8,700 Ghana cedis with the assurance that he would assist their children to get enlistment into the police service. And then, November last year, the accused asked his victims to send their children to a house in Ho and wait for their admission to the police training school. Okay. According to prosecution, well, let me go back a bit. The children went back to Georgia to cast their votes in the general election. And then the prosecution says that the 39-year-old pastor was first arraigned on February 15. I guess, you know, after nothing was happening, they got a bit suspicious and so reported, and then he was arrested. And then the story goes on and on and on and on and on. His name is Joshua Asante. He is the man accused and charged for swindling some victims of 8,700 Ghana cedis. He promised to enlist them in the Ghana Police Service. And then there's another story here on page 3. Man 75 dies in chieftaincy clash at Gomwa. No. Police chase 4 for robbing mobile banking van. The police have mounted a search for 4 suspected armed robbers who robbed a mobile banking van at Barchona in Accra on Monday. This happened just on Monday. The robbers were reported to have disarmed police personnel escorting the van, took away his AK-47 rifle and bolted with an unspecified amount of money from the van, which was daily sales of traders from markets and shops. This is the police speaking and talking about the issue happening at about 3:30 p.m. On Monday. So more of it on page 3. This is very disturbing. In the center spread, well, the exercise, the COVID-19 exercise, those who took the jab, including former President Mahama and his wife, Mrs. Lordina Mahama, and others. Some of the men are completely taking their shirts off. I thought you were just supposed to fold the sleeve so that they can give you the jab. But some of them are just ripping their shirts.
And yesterday, my friend Giovanni was it Giovanni or was it Stephen Ante? Well, he was mentioning that, look, as you go and take the jab, be careful. Watch what you're wearing underneath. you don't expose certain things unwittingly. Be careful. You might be exposed.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's check out some of the stories from the Daily Graphic this morning. 3,321 vaccinate first day. That was yesterday. Prominent personalities like Mr. Henry Quartey, Honorable Henry Quartey, if you like, Member of Parliament for this constituency, actually, Ayawaso Central, and Minister Designate for the Greater Accra Region, Chief of Staff, Mrs. Akosia Frema Osei of Pare. We also had Nanotu Esrebo, the second chairman of the Council of State. Quickly with this international bit, kidnapped Nigerian schoolgirls released. And this Zamfara area is becoming notorious in a way for these kidnappings, 317 of them. I just want to take a quick look at this editorial. You know how sometimes journalists are, journalists, they're solid, so to speak. This journalist, Vance Azu, you would know him, over 30 years in the field, and he is talking about how Ikwoti and George Weah failed him. It's something you should read, and you know what he says? He says basically he wanted to interview these 2 people, and according to Vance Azu, they all wanted
money.
We don't grant interviews like that. He in 2005, after Ike had lost his title and his belt and was trying to, get himself back into the fray, he wanted to have an interview with him, boost him a bit. Charlie, the question was, and same with George Weah then. In fact, George Weah, according to what he says, was asking him, look, what pertains in Europe and if you want an interview, so you must. And the guy was like, so yeah.
Is it a through relationship?
Anyway, double level attains compulsory retirement.
It's giving you content now.
Page 16. Election petition, what are the arguments? That's on page 16 as well. IDEG is saying, don't stifle media freedom on page 19. The middle spread, media managers, editors vaccinate against COVID COVID-19. The back page, I'm sure you've seen this, Mama V. Horrifying. The photo of that bridge and the truck, tipper truck, collapsing. Bridge over river, how do you pronounce this? Mameso or Mamieso? Collapses.
Please, the last time I checked, me, I'm from Angologan.
So Western region. Relax. Hold on. Hold on. So before I am told.
Go for it, though.
Okay. So maybe I'll check out that story when we're done. Find out
if it was Strongby or Lashigby, then I'll be able to pronounce. Yeah. Or Donogbo.
All right.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Front page, NPP and NDC commit to peace after meeting with national security. Mahama Ladina take COVID vaccine. They've got full details of why the minority MPs rejected 8 ministers. Well, that issue is becoming, a bit controversial, isn't it? Because, the chairman of the committee, the appointment committee, says that they have no power to reject any nominee. And
so is it a rubber stamp committee then?
Oh, it's not. They recommend, actually. They make recommendations.
So they're kind of like the Council of State.
And then the plenary would...
they're kind of like the Council of State.
Oh, well, in the end, it will get to the plenary and then they will take the decision. But it's always good. We've always said that it's good to get the entire committee approving a nominee, But yeah, they can have their say. The plenary will have its way, I guess.
I guess this time it's going to be interesting because the plenary, then, you're looking at practically even numbers. So we'll see. The final newspaper, Zipline begins world's first ever drone delivery of COVID-19 vaccines in Ghana. NPP, NDC commit to peace after Supreme Court verdict. And CBOD demands clamp down on illegal fuel trade. You'd be thinking, Senor Hosi. In that regard, it also talks about the massive turnout for yesterday's vaccination. And Rebecca Foundation donates hospital equipment to Kaneshi Polyclinic. Speaking of that foundation, I was very happy in recent times. You saw the story of Yawa, the woman who, diabetic and all of that. Story by our very own Beryl Richter. And they came to her aid. And, it's so touching. Anyway, that's just by the by. Done with the graphic.
Well, I am also. It's just the Ghanaian publisher that has the story of the Accra minister designate declaring war on land gas, promises to end multiple sale of lands in Accra as he appeared before the vetting committee. There was an issue of sirens, and he said that he would do something about it. I like the question from the chairman. The chairman of the committee said, you were Deputy Interior Minister. What did you do about it? That police was under the ministry, direct. And now that you're going to be Greater Accra Minister. Then he said,
sometimes they tell you
assisting the substantive minister.
and there were certain decisions I could not take. But I think sometimes we should ask them, what did you advise? What is on record? In terms of, do they minute their meetings and interactions and all of that? Someone should be able to say, look, I gave this counsel, and even it's in the minutes of maybe a meeting on this day at this time and something. At least so we know that, okay, you were thinking something, but maybe.
But before
he
comes to us, one of the things he was cautioning was members of parliament. We want him to start with them, begin with them before you come to the ordinary people, the taxis. That would either be blowing their horn or, whatever. Deal with your own people first, and then we know you can come to us, the ordinary ones.
Okay, so I'll wrap up with two headlines from two different papers. Daily Guide, Nana pins Mahama on lean data, where the Daily Guide has statistically proven what to be lean data. So that's with the Daily Guide. But the Republic Press in recent times has been coming up with interesting... Do you remember that headline about...
Say Republic Press like 3 times.
Republic Press, Republic Press, Republic Press.
Faster.
Republic Press, Republic Press, Republic Press.
Okay.
How about you do it? I'm throwing it back to you.
Oh, no. I asked you the question. You can. We got 1 minute.
So you remember the headline with Hawa Kum saying that she drowned at sea?
Yeah.
Guess what today is? Fisheries job still fishy. as Minority Caucus frustrates. As Minority Caucus, these people, you know, they are giving you headlines you would see in some UK papers. Like they can jab with subtle.
I like it.
Anyway, so that's just by the by. Fisheries jobs still fishy.
Oh my God! Let's spend the rest of the minutes. Should we do my jawline?
Yes, let's do.
You wanted to do the bridge.
I think it's one that anyway. So
who
a steel bridge
there?
that links Mameso to other communities in the Wassa Menfi East municipality in the Western region has collapsed. And it talks about a long heavy-duty truck reaching the middle of the bridge when it caved in, trapping the truck and pushing the bridge deep into the river. A team of engineers from the Ghana Highway Authority have visited the scene and lent support. So I'm wondering how old this bridge is, the MCE, the authorities in that area, what they've been doing up to this point, till the bridge actually collapses. This country, so many things happen here that are just needless.
Oh, it takes time, you know, just like discovering whether or not Daniel Domolovo is Ghanaian or, you know, the anomalies with his date. It takes a while. So we'll fish this one out too. Yeah, but go on to myjawline.com. We've got plenty of headlines for you right there. Mr. Daniel Domolovo's story is right there as well. Stay with us, your name show, as we discuss this matter in detail. And of course, is he going to show up? Yesterday, I was listening to Kojo Asante of the CDD, who says he bought him a box of chocolates for Val's, you know, chocolate day. And so he's going to send it to him. And there are people urging him to show up in the office. Would he go or not? Is this the end of Mr. Daniel Domolovo's work as a public officer in Ghana? Is he Ghanaian? Is he Togolese? Well, all of that conversation coming up.
It's one of two things. Go to work, go to work, go to work, or yepa yenko.
What will they use to secure the door to his office this time around? All of that here on the show. But we have to bring you sports first.